Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it's NMeade here, and we're at the closing of another year. You know what that means. Another year of reacting and analyzing Mario Kart Wii 150cc world records. This is the 6th year I've been doing this now. It's been a lot of fun these years that have passed us by. So get something to drink here. I got a fresh cup of coffee here. Get your tea, water, snacks, etc. LC, this has not been improved in the past year. Not surprising, in my opinion. I think Casey got exactly what he wanted here with this record. In case you guys don't know, Casey tied the WR with this current time Cole, the 774. And this 733 was the untie of them when Casey improved. Cole has not played the game for probably 5 or more years at this point, I'm pretty sure. The last time he played was when he got his last Peach Beach world record, I'm pretty sure. And I think I talked to Cole a good number of years ago, random message here and there, and he wasn't playing for quite a while at that point. So this is definitely a record that I 100% see standing for multiple years. I don't think there's been any recent activity near the top echelon here for a little while now. So with that in mind, I think this will definitely stand for at least 1 or 2 more years. We shall see what happens here. Moving on now to Moo Moo Meadows. This also did not get an improvement in the past year. Sosis remains on top, and you can peep the graphics here now. I've included some more stats here in a tasteful way for these videos. For your viewing pleasure and context, everyone. So BKS stands for Best Known Split. And BKS's in any type of Mario Kart game or time trial, etc. is the community's collective best splits that anyone has hit. So kind of shows like a human theory potential for that current moment in time. I still think the BKSs here are a little bit underbait. I think they'll definitely give a 114 with time. And even further, I think a 114 will be hit by someone humanly in the future. May not be for a couple of years, but I definitely see it because there's a super busted last turn strategy that can be done, where it's like an instant slip, super soft drift, and if you get the empty really fast and you get the wheelie right away, it saves like almost up to 0.1, I believe, over like a really good last turn as it is right now. Like this one's pretty good here, but even faster than that by quite a bit. So with the most busted strategies, I think it'll be done one day. But for now, will it be improved in the following year? I think there is potential. A lot of players here are very good. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if there is a rogue random improvement by someone here on these charts for this track. Sorry to smack the mic there. Sorry about that. Anyway, moving on. Mushroom Gorge, no glitch. Oh my god. This has got to be one of the most crazy head-scratching moments here. This is real life, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mario Kart Wii. So, Mario Kart Wii is normally called Mario Bike Wii because it's just Funky Kong Flame Runner Simulator, right? Karts are not really useful here. As well as outside drifting bikes until recently. This is absolutely busted, it's insane. Flam Bam is absolutely cracked at the game. Look at this. Long story short, there is a strategy called technique called super hopping that was developed a couple years ago now on an outside drifting bike, and to my memory their definition is it's repetitive spin drift hopping every other frame, and you're building up like horizontal momentum as well. So right now this shows lot 73 kmh on the mushroom pads. If I had a detailed speedometer, you would see that the XYZ value is a lot higher than what the actual inside drifting bike Flame Runner would be. So the fact that this has so many mushroom pads is where this bike shines. So with that in mind, a natural thought may be, well, can this be used to break the entire game? My answer is right now, as it stands, probably not for human play. I think the only other track where this could have somewhat of a fighting chance is DK Summit for the mogul mounts on the downward slope. But apart from that, most other tracks aren't really conducive for that. Also, look at that. If I was Flamban when I got this run, I would have been so frustrated, not gonna lie, man. But anyway, clearly this is new stuff developing here. I definitely think long-term a 134 to a low 135 will happen 100%. With that in mind, I felt it was only appropriate to still include the inside drifting bike world record, which is Alprin's Ghost here, which was the world record before the outside drifting bike developments. So I still regard this as one of the most craziest, very finely optimized world records in recent Mario Kart history. When I saw this improvement when Alprin made it, I was very shocked and just so impressed because he already had like a mid to low 140.4, and that's already very strong as it is, but making that much of a jump from where this was at already was just so insane. And I really thought if Alprin didn't improve this, this would have stood for a couple of years by my estimation. Now, I put BKS as now untracked. On the BKS page, they used to track it obviously, but now they removed the inside drifting bike splits. I couldn't find them anywhere, sorry about that, so I couldn't include them for this video here. But safe to say, 100% inside drifting bike will never have world record on the overall no glitch category ever again, unless something completely busted is discovered with the Flame Runner itself. Because, as mentioned, outside drifting bike will definitely get a 134 or a low 135 one day, and it's going to just destroy this by a couple of seconds. But even still, this is a super cracked time here, and I just can't believe that, you know, it's 16 years already of Mario Kart Wii, and we're still having just super busted things happen to the game, and weird intervals every couple of, like, years, sometimes monthly spurts at a time. But it makes things very, very interesting to see and to participate. So I think long term we'll see more people trying the outside drifting bike mechanic for the overall no glitch category. But as it stands though, this is still such a very strong time here for the inside drifting bike world record. But that is all for this chapter of Mushroom Gorge. I still cannot believe this has happened in this past year for overall Mushroom Gorge gameplay. Glitch category. This was improved. Bryce got back the world record from Idris, and to my memory, it was 2 improvements. He had a .747, I believe, was the first improvement, and a week later, he had this improvement here. And as you can see, the best known splits are pretty close to this time. I believe Bryce in the past has said that he has 5 or so different scenario best known splits, because depending on when your lap counts on the mountain, it makes the laps different. But even so, we are getting a little bit closer to where the limit may be for this. Not to say improvements can never happen ever again, because that's silly, because things always get improved no matter what, right? But still, pretty crazy to see activity here once more. We shall see what happens in the following year. Moving on now to Toad's Factory. Starting off on no shortcut here. This is Logan's time that has remained undefeated in the past year. And will this stand in the next year? I'm not too sure. It totally can. The primary player that I've been aware of that's been having sessions here in the past year has been Luke. And Luke was the former world record holder of this track for quite a while. I think it was a 149.245 or something, and that record stood for quite a while for Toad's Factory. And I don't think Barney, Connor, or Logan have played this in the past year or two. I could be wrong. At least in the past year, I don't think they've really played it at all. But still, I think the best known splits here can still be improved by a little bit more. I think it is possible. So there is cushion here. I think maybe 1 or 2 players have already failed a 148. Don't know if it's Logan. Don't know if it was Luke. Maybe it was Connor. If I could find it, I'll overlay it. But I'm pretty sure someone failed a 148 at the very last low jump of lap 3. Completely devastating. I think when they corrected it, it was a high 148.9. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So with that in mind, I think there is a good possibility this can be improved in the coming year. This is already an amazing run as it is. I've watched all the iterations of Toad's Factory, so to go from the humble low 152 world records, the old ties of Brendan and Stro way back in the day. Now we're on the horizon of a 148 here. Truly nothing short of incredible. So, always a fun category to watch here. Incredible time. And we shall see. I think any player here can definitely give this a good stab and see who's the first one to get a 148 in the future. Now, moving on to the Toad's Factory shortcut box clip category. 1, no improvement. But 2, what's interesting is the placements after world record have had a little bit of a change here. So Zilla is now second worldwide, and I believe is it Mitch or Matthew that is third? Let's take a look here. Let's take a gander here. This is the podcast after all. It is Mitch. That's when I get my facts right. Very good. So Mitch has a .819 and Zilla has the .6 here. So the reason why I highlight that is because Logan has had such a vice grip on this category for a very long time, and he has had interval improvements throughout the past couple of years. I think he even had like a higher to mid 144 for a while, and then he has these intermittent like 0.1, 0.050 cuts every once in a while to his current 0.1 here. For those that have never watched this before, what's really impressive is they're doing a box clip, crate clip, but it's off a moving target, which is super insane. I so love how this is a thing. This is actually one of my favorite categories to watch, in case I've never said that before in the past, just for that mere fact. But with that in mind, you're pretty much pace locked until the crate lap 2, and once you land an awesome cut lap 2, you race as fast as possible to the finish line. That's why you may see players just waste time on lap 1 to the crate lap 2, because if you're simply too fast, you have to wait for the crate to be in alignment. You get what I'm saying? So it's unfortunate where you've been pace locked instead of going as fast as possible all 3 laps. I think there may have been some testing in years past for other types of strategies, but you just can't be fast enough currently humanly to do a 3 for 3. But again, with new activity here getting closer, maybe there could be a close contender in the following year. We shall see. Gonna sip some coffee here first. Hits the spot. Alright, so Mario Circuit, no glitch. We have Guy here, and this is still such an awesome record. I remember watching this and just being so happy for Guy. He worked so hard for this type of time for so long, and this is the first 3 for 3 King Alex ramp world record. For those that haven't watched before, basically a King Alex ramp is when you get the very top part of the ramp here, and you get like the instant airtime down into the off-road. Apart from that, there is a strategy, I believe it is called a fast ramp, where you do a spin drifting trick from the base, and then you trick off it and you land back directly onto the road. But what they're doing here, 1 is way faster, 2 way harder, and 3 is not really consistent to my memory. With that in mind, Casey has been with this 0.4 for quite a while now. So as far as will this continue to stand, this could 100% go on another year or years plural without being defeated. Guy stepped away from the game, hasn't been playing anymore. But I think if Casey were to give this a giant stab again, I think he could definitely make the push to a 119. Also knowing the best known splits I'm listing here, I believe it is 201, right? I believe, no, 210, I think was the shroom strategy. And those best known splits are ever so slightly faster than what they did in this current record here. But still, such a crazy time as it is already for that category of Mario Circuit. Now, this was really cool. Check this out. I think Mario Circuit glitch history has had like a trillion glitch entry strategies just like Coconut Mall. It's absolutely crazy. So, to my memory, this was implemented in the past year, I believe with TAS first, and now it's done humanly. So the old strategy, which is already busted as it is, they will clip off of a tree on this side, hit the star, get shot down, and be in the tunnel and turn left. Now you see how much time was saved on lap 1, and then laps 2 and 3 weren't as fast. Didn't get the fast bounce off the top of the hill, unfortunately. So this is still now a good ways off the best known splits now at this point. So this will definitely be improved in the future. It's just a matter of who's going to be leading the charge here. I think when all these players try that new entry, this is going to be changing pretty rapidly, I think, for a top 10. So we shall see. Moving on, this was a really cool surprise in the past year. So I didn't think that Breakson's time was going to go down during this year. And then Logan made a humongous push during this year and successfully closed out getting a world record here on the no glitch category Coconut Mall, which is really cool. I believe Logan has the best known split lap 1. I think Ace was lap 2, and maybe Breakson or Logan has the lap 3 best known split. So with that in mind, I think the 154 will happen one day. I believe in the past Breakson has said that, you know, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I believe I asked in the past, like, will the car cycles be a problem for a 154? But no, his answer was it shouldn't be a problem. So with that in mind, this is definitely one of the most technique heavy tracks in the game. There's so much happening at one time where just a little straight before the first banister each lap. It's kind of a breather, you know? Because apart from that, this strategy here, I still love that. You're barely skimming the zipper as the car is going back. And I think at maximum that saves maybe 80 milliseconds as opposed to not going for it. To my memory, that's the figure that I was told in the past, I'm pretty sure. But yes, long term, this will definitely hit the 154. Just a matter of when. Not only Logan, I think Breakson played this in the past year. And I think also Ace has played this in the past year. But also, apart from the top 3, there's been a ton of people that have gotten very good here as well. Nugget, I believe, is 4th. And I think Nugget can possibly contend too. Nugget has been really entertaining other tracks recently. And he's 2nd worldwide on BC Wii No Glitch. We'll get to that later on. But now the whole worldwide top 10 is finally all filled with 155s. It took forever. I believe Ace's first 155 world record here was 2017 or 2018, around that time. So it's taken almost, I think, at least 6 years for the entire worldwide top 10 to be 155. So absolutely crazy, truly. Moving on, this was another insane development. So if you've never seen this, another busted entry has been discovered here. I don't think you can get much faster than this, as opposed to like just respawning in the parking lot, you know? But yeah. So initially, Breakson did this with Baby Daisy and Bullet Bike to my memory. And then Beanzard got his first world record on this track, new entry, and first Birdo world record ever for the game. So that's massive props there. And then Breakson came back and pushed it down quite a bit further. I think still it'll hit the 23 one day. Just a matter of when people are going to try and grind for it more. But at least at this point, the entire top 10 has adapted the new entry for it. So we shall see what happens there in the future. Moving on, another improvement is on DK Summit. Well, there's been 2 improvements. So, Blake had WR, and I believe, let's take a gander here, shall we, folks? It was, give me a second here, fellas, as you watch top tier gameplay on your monitors, tablets, smartphones. January 26th of this year. Connor reclaims the world record for the first time since January 2020. That was so hype when he got it back. I've been rooting for Connor to give Blake a battle here for quite some time, and he eventually did. And then Blake was very steady, very consistent, and very persistent almost his whole year on his streams, trying to get the world record back. And after slaving away for so long, Blake did close out getting it back later on this year. So yeah, the classic tale DK Summit this is still such a difficult time trial to pull off, especially for the Jimmy cut, the double chasm cut that they're doing here. So difficult to do. There's a reason why this was starting to be used in world records literally I think over 10 years ago, but still the best known split discrepancy, the current WR, is still so far away. Because this is absolutely one of the hardest tracks by far to close out a time trial at this level here in particular. But yeah, Connor's record unfortunately missed a part of the horizontal zipper, lap 3. So I think when corrected, it was like a 144.2 or something like that, I'm pretty sure. But in any event, I think more is to come here. I think both won a 143 one day down the line. So we shall see. Other players are also finally getting a bit closer to Connor and Blake. Shout out to Julian, Alperen, and Flair for most recently getting their times within the past year overall, I'm pretty sure. Wario's Gold Mine no glitch. We have Logan's record here. And Logan and Luke are still the only 2 that have a 149 here. And this can definitely be improved some more. Luke has failed some world records here in the past year, including right at the very end at the dip skip, the detach up over here, I believe on lap 3. I think it was like a mid 149.8 pace, I'm pretty sure. So with that in mind, I think definitely an improvement will come during this year. I think multiple people can still be the one to still push us down further. I'm still waiting for the day that Vincent comes back here as well to try to reclaim this. Because Vincent has some really good splits that he set and paces when this was all new developments a couple of years ago for like a 149 pace. For the first 149s were hit. And I think Casey got very high on these tops as well, and a couple others now. So a lot of good talent here on this track that could still push it down further. And I just can't believe it, man. It's gonna be, I think, 3 years. I think it was beginning of 2022. Or was it 2021? My memory is fleeting me. Let's take a gander here, fellas. How long has it been? Yes. January 2022 is when multiple things were starting to change on Gold Mine, where this whole track was completely revolutionized. And I still can't believe how awesome everything has been for Gold Mine developments. So at this point, I think in the future, this year, I think this can and will go down. Can be by several people. We shall see who's going to be the person to lead the charge here. I think beyond a mid to low 0.8, it's going to be very difficult because of the minecart lap 3. The pace becomes really tricky around that point. So we shall see what we see happen here in the future. Now, Gold Mine glitch category. This has remained unimproved in the past year. Poyo made his magnificent return, gained the world record exactly 13 years later after his first world record back in 2009, the very first person to land specifically 3 for 3 pipe bounces here. And with that in mind, I think this can still stand for another year. I don't think McRaren really plays anymore, and I don't think Ray has really tried this for a while. I think I've seen Ray being active on other glitch and shortcut categories in the game. So I don't know if he's kind of laid his controller down here for a little while for this category. There's still more room to squeeze out here, but at this point, I think this is really difficult to optimize from here. But so multiple people can possibly toss this up here in the future. We shall see. But always cool to see how optimized the pipe bounces are now on Gold Mine Glitch. Moving on. Daisy Circuit. This also had improvement in the past year. So I want to say there may have been more than one improvement. I don't think this was a solid jump in one shot. Let's take a look here as I get some more coffee down. Let's see. Okay. First off, Logan improved his own record to this comparison here to 372. And to my memory, that was the first 3-for-3 stair dive run ever for a DC world record. And then Luke reclaimed the world record from Logan with this current run here. And this current run is awesome. As 2-for-3 dives is very strongly driven. Both these guys have very strong driving for both their times here. I think both of these players can definitely get a 128.1 with 3-for-3 dives. I think both of them have their own personal best splits to almost equate a 127. So with that in mind, will 127 happen humanly? I mean, I would think so at one point down the line. I don't think there's any more unused strategies here. I really don't think so at this point. It's just a matter of getting all 3 stair dives, super hard thing to do. But it's crazy how much both Logan and Luke has really pushed the actual just driving standard alone, apart from stair dives obviously, but the true crispness of the driving here is just really impressive on this track for both of them, and their lead shows it, as you guys can see. But yeah, we shall see what this track delivers within the coming year. If you guys like these videos, definitely get subscribed here, throw the video a thumbs up, helps grow the channel and push out the video more. Thank you in advance. Koopa Cape, no glitch. This has had improvement in the past year, and Luke reclaimed the world record from Logan here during the past year, and getting very close now to the first 216. Just the fact that we're even contemplating a 216 on Koopa Cape. Oh my god. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, I've watched all the developments from the beginning in 2008. And this track is in such a different place than it was way in the very beginning. There's been multiple shroom strat changes, shroomless strategy changes more than one, because now you cut way more off as opposed to the older one from before. New pipe driving strategies, etc. With that in mind, this is always one of the coolest records I think to watch as well for its category in general, because this has gone through so many iterations, and it's just really cool to know like where something started, right, and what it took to get to this current time now, right? So with that in mind, I think 1,000,000% this sees the first 216 next year. I'll say even more than that. I'll say a 218.8. I have a feeling someone's going to get a super busted time on this track. And as I've been saying a lot of players can get that type of time. I want to focus on that point for a second too, because I want to like highlight the player base, because I'm very impressed these days with how the collective skill level and performance of the entire top echelon has really increased collectively, where for quite a while, it would just be one or two main players that are getting most of the feats and records, but now there's a ton of talent that have gotten extremely good at the game that can give the top players a run for their money here. So with that in mind, I think Mario Kart Wii Time Trial, the scene collectively, is in a really good spot. And it makes things really interesting. When more players can contend, more faces, it makes things really exciting to see things change around. You know what I mean? So we shall see what happens in 2025 Koopa Cape No Glitch. Moving on. Koopa Cape Glitch category. This remains unimproved in the past year. And as you can see by the best on splits, there's still some wiggle room here. And two things. One is obviously going to come from the shroomless driving here, which, to be fair, I give them a lot of credit for doing this, because doing shroomless spear driving here is just so annoying. Like, using this clunky vehicle for shroomless driving here is just an absolute nightmare. It's an absolute dumpster fire, for lack of a better term. I think you would see more players frequently try and grind this if this was possible with the Flame Runner. Because it would make the no glitch driving way easier for sure. But in any event, if you guys have never seen this before, this is completely busted. You're in one giant seam, spin drift, turn around, shroom, wiggle off, and your lap is going to count. I still cannot believe how just that happened in our timeline. Like, it was always the joke in the meme that Koopa Cape finally got a glitch. And when it finally happened, oh man, so exciting. But with that in mind, that is by far one of the hardest things to pull off in the game. Because it may not look like it, but it's just a very thin seam in the wall you're riding on. And any minor little analog movement, right? And you're off the track. So just so many small things that would just take too long to possibly word vomit in this one replay for a time. But all I have to say, just trying to express how impressive all these times are. Gotta give all the players their proper recognition and credits for all the grinding that they do. People have their own speedrunning endeavor motivations, but in the end, everyone always wants their credit too at the end of the day for the work that they're doing. So congrats to all the players that are doing their times, including to the world record level these days. Now, my favorite track, Maple Treeway, no glitch. This remains unimproved in the past year. And one of the most interesting developments in the past year is what you see in the box on the right hand side. That second place time, done by Flair. Incredible player. He has the Rainbow Road no glitch world record. Shout out to Flair. And Flair has been the one to lead the charge, and he broke the barrier. Before Flair, Demon has had over a 2.5 second lead over second place on a no glitch world record track time here. Cannot emphasize that point enough. That is not normal, okay? Only the second place that gap. The gap to 10th at one point, I think it was over 3 seconds, I believe. Actually, almost 4 seconds, so almost a 2:17. Right when this record was first set. Since then, the top 10 has improved a little bit. 10th is 2:16.6 now, I believe. But still, not normal on a no glitch category, folks, okay? With that in mind, will this stand for the next year? Maybe it will. I think if anyone has a shot to do it, I think Flair can be the man in charge here to try and give Demon a run for his money. As always, Demon can come back on his own to play. But my overall stance is, I think this will be improved. That's my prediction. Because Demon tied, yes, he tied the no turn skip record during this year. So Demon has been doing the no glitch driving. He's fresh and ready to go, folks. So with that in mind, I think what will make Demon play this sooner on his own is if Flare starts up attempts again. Because Demon has been undefeated for over 8 years, almost 9 years now. His collective reign is over 10 years on this category, and overall for Maple Treeway collectively. So Demon wants to keep that close to the vest here, right? So I think when Flare starts playing again, I think Demon will be provoked to play this category here. But the Demon conversation does not end here, because this glitch category was improved and Demon successfully regains the glitch world record category. So Demon once more is the dual world record holder on Maple Treeway. And Demon has been hard at work for quite a while now to try and regain and get back this category through all the strategy iterations of Maple Treeway. And with that in mind, he had a very sizable cut to Dez's time. And as far as if this will be improved in the coming year, I really don't think so. I think if I was Demon, I would be completely sick of this category from how long he had to grind it for. That's just my assumption anyway, because this category is just so volatile to play, because everything is difficult, but this here is the most annoying part. There's just so much luck involved with getting that shroomless little lip up there, to the point where I believe Demon has had multiple significant world record improvements fail on lap 3. He made all this stuff on lap 3, past the cannon, and just didn't get lucky on the little lip cut, the main turbo cut. So if I was Demon, I would be sick and tired of playing this. I would want to play the other categories here. That's just me. But yeah, overall, I think this will still be a year of more Maple Treeway improvements on the no glitch category. And I think this glitch category is going to stand as it is for the coming future. Also note the best known splits I listed here, which is the best overall, is using the one shimmer clip off the tree root all 3 times. Hardest thing ever to do, but that still shows the raw gap of potential for what can happen here down the line. Let me drink some more coffee here. Alrighty. Grumble Volcano, no glitch. We have an improvement, and Connor reclaims the world record from Barney. This was pivotal too, because let's look at how long it was beforehand. Yeah. So Connor lost the world record on this category September 2020. So he got this current time almost exactly 4 years later, September 13th of this current year, 2024, and he finally reclaimed it. And the last time he had a world record here was with the old mushroom strategy before the task shroom was being used. So this was really cool to see that Connor successfully converted on the new strategies for modern day and got it back. He was actually dormant at second worldwide here for at least one of those years, I think, since last year. I think he had like a very low 0.0, perhaps, I think. But yeah, a very awesome time here performed by Connor. As far as if there will be improvements in the future, in the coming year for sure. I think this will see a couple improvements actually. Because there's been a good amount of activity here. Connor has played. Logan has been improving. Logan got the third 150 here now as well. I think Barney did a couple of streams and attempts here, I think immediately after he was defeated here. So we've had the top 3 be active here in the past couple of months, which is what motivates me to say that this can see some improvements in the coming year for sure. But yeah, this is such a tricky time trial, and I always admired this category because I suck at this track. I'm very bad here. I want to get better at this myself personally in the coming year, but I digress. Anyway, that's a really incredible time here. BKS give a 0.4 here. There's more room to squeeze out here, so we shall see what the future holds here. As mentioned, I've included some other categories highly requested for a while. Now, this is the alternative category of Grumble Volcano. It's not an official category, but it is still played by the player base. This is the Rock Hop category world record. And first off, before I have a monologue of history here, this record is busted. This strategy is insane. Right-sided Rock Hop is absolutely freaking crazy, and I love this. So, natural question might be, why is this not the primary no glitch category? A very long story short, the reason why we got here is because when no glitch charts were first created, and I think mid to late 2009, the Rock Hop was only 2 for 3 on the left hand side, and lap 3 had to use the Lakitu respawn, and the fact that the respawn had to be used is the primary reason why this category was kind of put to the side. And the category we just watched just before was the primary established no glitch category for the track. So that's why that has happened. I would say if at that time, when the categories were made, if it was already a 3 for 3 Rock Hop and no respawn was used, then I think this would be the primary category for the no glitch category on this track. But this is equally super busted and insane. I think both categories deserve their time to shine for sure. Yeah, maybe the official category might change in the future, who knows, but from what I know, what I saw way back in the day, those are the primary drivers as to why. But that was a super crazy run as it is. Another crazy run is this glitch run on Grumble Volcano. Nayake remains undefeated in the past year. Jairan has not played, from what I can tell, on this track for quite a while. This record is still a little bit off best known split, but this is such a volatile category to play. The shortest time trial in the entire game, 15 seconds and change. The task entry is so hard to do, and drifting around with the Quacker is just absolutely nuts. But I think that will stand for at least another year, and the fact that Nayake still remains on top after so long is just immensely impressive. Special Cup now. Dry Ruins. We have Logan's time here, and this was not improved in the past year. This run is insane. I can't believe how much this has already been pushed. Just categorically, all different strategies they're doing, especially I think lap 3 is the most impressive lap to watch for this in particular. If not for anything else, it's getting the right-sided exit and the drifting fast ramp on lap 3 for the shrimpless at the end, as you guys are going to see later on. That whole sequence alone and getting the soft drifting by the sand, I can't believe people can actually pull that off. It's mind-bending to me. As you can see, there's still room to improve here compared to best known splits, and I think for sure best known splits can still be improved by a decent margin here. I will say as well, like I was talking about back on Koopa Cape, I believe, the entire player base has really stepped it up, and everyone is getting just so good overall at this game. And I think this top 10 has finally caught up with the times, because the world record, top 2 here on this track, at least past 5 years maybe, has definitely been several notches above the rest of the top 10. I think there are still some 148s in recent years near the bottom of the charts, and there's still quite a gap. But now I think 10th is almost a 147.3. It's almost there. But again, that whole sequence there is like that. The last 7 seconds of this category of Dry Ruins, completely busted. That's top tier, just such precision technique driving that I cannot overstate how impressive that whole sequence was for this record here. So hats off for an impressive record there, Logan. But yeah, now 2.5s, but they're going to be closer to a 0.3, starting at 10th place on DDR. So we'll see what happens there in the future. Moonview Highway, this also was not improved in the past year. And I believe maybe Luke played this briefly, and also Casey. So Casey got very close. I think Casey is now 3rd, and Casey has a 0.0 here. And I think Casey has had some WR fails here, I think. So in the coming year, maybe this can go down. Maybe it will. But I would totally understand if it was not. And here's why. If you've never watched this before, on lap 3, this is the first world record to beat the truck lap 3. And that's very pivotal because in years past, not this lap, but lap 3, there's been a truck there that pace locks the world record holders here from going even faster. And then there's a car that goes by on the following short bend. So with that in mind, to hold down the nerves with that too and just be that fast to do it, only one person, being Logan here, has done it. And I don't know if someone else will also get to that milestone this year. This coming year, I should say. So beating that, and then look at that. Not only to evade that blue car, but to squeeze out that MT the way that it was done is absolutely busted. Like, that's another just high level, extremely precise thing that's done that I could go microscopically over so many small things like that that would just take too long to repeat things over and over. But just know that this is definitely one of the most impressive world records right now out of the entire track list here. But we shall see what is being delivered here in 2025. Bowser's Castle, no shortcut. Zeke is undefeated still. Nugget remains 2nd worldwide. And Nugget's run is tragic. You're going to see Nugget is commanding the charge for almost all of lap 3 ahead of Zeke here by quite a lot. Nugget misses a main turbo lap 3 on the spiral, and then it kind of deconstructs from there. I haven't spoken to Zeke in probably a year and a half, so I'm not really too sure what he's up to these days, but he hasn't played during that time. No activity from what we've seen anyway. It was really exciting to see when Zeke was active here at the time. It'll be really cool to see if Zeke is active with the other top players here at the same time, because I think all of the top 10 BC Wii players, especially the top 5 players, have been kind of like passing ships in the night. Like they're active here and then they're not, then they're there and they're not, that type of thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, multiple players are so talented here where they all can get a 219. This is by far one of the hardest tracks and categories in the entire game to play. And the best known split, the discrepancy, it shows it. It's almost a 218 for best known splits, and it can definitely still go down a lot because that lap 3 is heavily unoptimized. Let's explain this before we get to the end of lap 3. Sometimes you see best known splits lap 2 and 3 being the same. That means they're using the lap 2 for lap 3 because theoretically there's no pace locks or cycles or anything else to prevent that being repeated. But on this track, the geyser strats are differently, the wave carpet tricks are differently, so you can't use that for laps 2 and 3. Now, look at this here. Let's watch together. Look at how much Nugget lost there. And now he's almost off-screening, and now they're very close. And the geyser tricks? Oh, yeah. See what I mean? So, yes. Nugget probably would have had like a 219.7 or something bust like that, I'm pretty sure. But in any event. Next year, I think almost every player here has what it takes to get a 219. I want to see the first 219 happens in 2025. By who? We shall see. Been talking a lot, sorry fellas. Moving on, now to Bowser's Castle shortcut category. This was improved again by Emil, and Emil has been improving his own WR here. And I think continuing to try to further the gap here compared to second place, making the world record in a much safer place compared to the rest of the player base. It's one thing to get the first WR, but then it's always props to continue to improve upon your own world record. That was one thing I struggled with for a while. At least in my history, I would just get a record somewhere and I couldn't improve my own record unless I was provoked to improve it. So I always give players props to be at the highest level already, but then still improve upon their current world record, because I think to get a world record takes one set of mentality and mental gymnastics to try and keep your head on straight to perform, but it's another thing to excel and to beat your previous best when you already are on top. That takes a different skill level and different mindset. So I always like to shout out everyone that improves upon their own world record by themselves. It was actually really cool. So my memory here, last 1 and 2 are very good, and then he unfortunately loses a ton of time at the end of lap 3, where I think this lap 3, to my memory, was actually driven pretty well, and I think categorically he loses like 0.2 on the geysers at the end, I'm pretty sure. I think maybe his wheelie just came out at the unopportune time, and the geysers go very bad. We'll see that shortly, but still, we see there's at least almost a full second of a gap between BKS and the current time here. So with that in mind, I think we will definitely see some more improvements in the coming year. Yeah, look at that. 8th of dirt or grass rather. Dark textured grass. And the unfortunate geyser tricks there. So yes, I think long-term 207 improvements next year, very highly likely. But yeah, overall, that's wonderful progress on BC Wii shortcut category, and we shall see what develops in the coming year. By editing magic, hopefully this aligns here how to get some more water here. Been talking a lot so far. Oh man, here we go. Rainbow Road. No glitch. This has not been improved in the previous year. Flair remains on top as #1 for Rainbow Road. And I don't think Flair has really played this since he set this time, that I can tell. And Kaide always has his spurts here once in a while of playing Rainbow Road. And Kaide is Mr. Persistent, Mr. Consistent on this track. I think eventually, Kaide will reclaim the world record here. He is the overwhelming force of Rainbow Road for so long now. And I think when the time happens, Flair will answer the call as he always does here. And I don't know. I want to imagine 223 can happen, but I really don't know, man. Like, especially to lap 3, because I think lap 3 is Kaide's BKS and so is lap 2. But they're just so strong as it stands for those laps. And just to imagine to improve that even more and to barely squeak out the 223, I don't know, man. Like, I normally am one for the super bold predictions, but I don't know. I don't know if this is a tale of what is it in Mario Kart Deluxe? Is it Mute City, one of those F-Zero tracks where will the sub 1 minute happen? I watched an awesome video by Alpha, and I'll link that down below. And I wonder if that's the same type of case as here, because right now the BKS don't even give it yet, and I think already the BKS here are already extremely strong as it is. So unless some busted new strategy happens for kart gameplay here, I don't know. I mean, I think for sure BKS will eventually meet a 223, but as far as the 223 actually being hit, I don't know. I'm curious. I don't know. But as it stands for now, this is still extremely strong here, but I don't think this is where the battle ends. I think Flair and Kaede both have their hands full for some more WR battles down the line. So we shall see what happens here in the future. They're still a good ways away from the pack, but we shall see if anyone else trades hands here in the future. I wanted to include this category too in this video. This time is busted. If you guys have been watching these videos for a good number of years, you probably don't even know what Flame Runner driving looks like on this track. This was what it was before kart was the fastest strategy for Rainbow Road No Glitch. But there's a lot of new things they're doing here, and when I heard that Ivan was doing some busted crazy driving here, I had to watch. And I could not believe what I watched, because this time is busted. He's doing multiple new strategies. So as you're going to see, he does one extended wheelie before the wave zipper trick, which is new, was interesting to me. That was a clever idea that they're doing now. 2 is not new, but he's doing a full wheelie at the figure 8 in between those tricks. Very hard to do. It can go south very quick. He's barely catching these zipper cycles, which looks so cool, by the way. Had a high shrimless there, unfortunately, but still a very fast pace currently. He's doing super tight half pipe drifts here, which just looks absolutely nutty. And I couldn't believe this. They're doing the shroomless path skip with a bike now, with the inside drifting bike. Bizarre, man. And small detail, Buddy's releasing that super early. Like, you won't release the MT that early in years past of using Flame Runner driving here. But I felt a nice blast to the past for what the Flame Runner world record run is. Would be cool to watch, because I love the kart driving and how it took over the category, but I didn't know that all these new strategies for Flame Runner on this track were starting to be used now. So Ivan does not do the shroomless path skip on lap 3. So I put untrapped for BKS because I couldn't find Flame Runner best known splits here on this category at all. But still, this will definitely be a 225, but man, like, in case you guys don't know, Ivan is an incredible kart player as well. Funnily enough, he has the most busted Flame Runner time now on a primarily kart dominant category for the track. I'm tongue-tied, man. Like, that is so busted and impressive. Like, I could not believe what I saw when I watched that, so job well done. Now, we had an improvement as well in the past year on Rainbow Road Glitch, and we had Core gain the world record from Danny Boy. And if you notice, he's on the Phantom, and Danny Boy was on Shooting Star. I may possibly get this wrong, but I believe it was Danny Boy or one of the Rainbow Road Glitch time trialers were saying that I think Phantom can give you higher airtime, which makes getting the glitch a bit more reliable or more consistent. I'm pretty sure that's what I was told. But I think both are overall pretty similar from what I've been told before. But you guys can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But as you can see though, the best known splits is 3 for 3. So at one point, we are going to see 1,000,000% the first 3 for 3 Rainbow Road glitch run. I can't believe it. Like, from how much it took for a human to land a glitch here for the first time to where this is at now, in case you guys don't know, there's Spear being attempted, eventually Quacker was the one to do it, then the outside drifting bike bouncing mechanics off the wall unlocked Shy Guy Beach, this track, a lot of things. So we shall see who is going to be the first person to get a 3 for 3. I think next year is the first 3 for 3. That's my current prediction. On to the retros now. We have Peach Beach here. We have the no glitch category. This is once more by Casey. And second worldwide is Guy. Both have been WR holders here before. And I don't really see this being improved for a good number of years, I think. Here's why. To my memory, I think Casey got everything he wanted with his current time here. He did fail almost a 112.5 to my memory. I forget if it was before or after this time, but I think Casey has had just much bigger targets and sights for him to what his interests are now at this point. He's been WR contender for multiple different tracks, which we're going to see later on in this video. And Guy doesn't play the game anymore. Cole doesn't play the game anymore. So there's no one in this cluster that have been, you know, really active here to try and get the record. I think multiple players can be capable of getting fast enough to do it here, but I don't think they're going to be going out of the way to do it anytime soon. That's just my current prediction as it stands. But still, like, look at that. Compared to best known splits, it's very close now. I think long term, a high 5 will happen. Apart from that, it's going to be almost just very minimal cuts after that, if anything. But yeah, as the story goes on the no glitch category, the same story can be told on the glitch category. As we saw Guy has this category still. And Guy was the first one to cut the 1 minute on this category here. It was very hype when it happened. And with Guy not playing, I don't think Arrow has played since he got his time, the 1 minute 049. And this category is pretty dormant. So I don't see this going down for quite a while. I really want to emphasize this one thing. Just watch closely at how he does this tree clip here. If you notice, he goes right up to it, breaks just a smidge of a second, and goes and clips. When I was recording these to put this together so I can commentate it after, when I was watching more closely at that, I cannot believe how insane that is. Like, if you knew where it was beforehand when you would stop, align, empty, align, and shroom, to doing that all at full speed, that is otherworldly, so impressive. So I just wanted to highlight how just insane that is too, for how impressive that gameplay is overall. Now, different story for Yoshi Falls. This will 1,000,000% get improvements, plural, in the next year. Because I think multiple people will be trading hands on this track. This has had a large amount of activity spring up in the past maybe month or two. David is back, and he's been streaming. Logan's trying to get it. Casey has been playing again. And I think one or two others have also been playing too. at almost WR level. So yeah, not a matter of if, a matter of when. And it's gonna be crazy because I remember looking, and I'll check it again actually, but I don't think David ever lost his reign ever since first getting this track. Actually, let me see, let me check. I was wrong, I lied. He was beaten once by Breakson, but when he got it back, he's been undefeated for almost 5 years. It'll be April 2025. And this, wow, that's crazy. This current record here is almost 1,500 days now. 1,496 days. And that's slowly approaching the longest standing Yoshi Falls world record. So, very impressive stuff, but I think things get shaken up next year. Speaking of which, I think this will definitely go down during next year because this is exciting. So Barney has now finally gotten the second worldwide here in the past like only 2 weeks or so. And what's also impressive is Barney is the first person to beat Blaze, who's third worldwide. So Blaze was first defeated on this track, this category, in 2021. So Blaze's former WR was only beaten by one person for almost 4 years, which is actually insane. So with that in mind, this is definitely gonna go down because look, they were pretty much tied here, and Barney was slightly ahead, then this ever so slightly just didn't get it out here. But really exciting stuff here for GB2. A lot of players collectively have been active here in the past year. So I think next year we see the first 52.6, and I think multiple people can possibly lead that charge and make that mark be done here. So very exciting things. I love GB2 time trials, so I love to see when activity is booming here for sure. So the exact opposite story now on this category of GB2. That's still one of my favorite world records to watch. Like, just the fact that instant clip, land, turn around, instant align shroom, and makes it like, man, jeez, dude. Like, couldn't believe it at all when I first saw this. And I think, again, if Logan doesn't choose to play it, I don't think Vincent has tried in the longest time to get this back. I think this could, like, this could rival being the longest Mario Kart Wii world record ever. Which, the person that still holds that title is Mr. Bean's Wario's Gold Mine glitch time. I think this has that same type of energy for what it takes to have the longest lasting world record. Let's actually see how many days this has right now. I'm actually curious while this is still up. GB2, let's look down. 1,242 days so far. Longest lasting world record, 2,245 days. So at least 1,000 more days to go. But if any record could possibly beat Mr. Bean's record, it might be Logan's GB2. We shall see. Alright, so this had an improvement in the past year. Vincent finally pulls through during this year. And he finally gets a Raceway world record. And as you saw at the beginning, a new but not new strategy is doing a slip at the beginning for the first turn. I mean, that's been known for forever, but no one really bothered really doing that. Mostly Daisy Mock players were doing it, but no one was bothering with Funky Flame until now. And it definitely saves a good amount of time. But even still, that's just the first turn of the track, and it's only done one time at the very start there. So yeah, Vincent finally pulled through a world record run here. Vincent had a lot of WR fails here in years past. And then eventually, Sosis just got this busted 198 time when he got it. And he had like a 150 lead over second, third, and fourth. Because I think it was a cluster of .3s. It was Vincent, it was Luke, and it was Yasha, all at mid to low 3. And then Sosis bust out this giant 198, and it stood for quite a while. But overall, I think this will definitely get to a 140 long term. This hasn't really been too active since Vincent's time, but I think Vincent, Sosis, if Yasha were to play again, oh, that'd be the super dream. Yasha was such an amazing player. Hopefully Yasha's doing good these days. Also, Luke and others could definitely push to 130 in KC2. Because also, these BKS here is actually the Daisy best known splits. The Funky Flame BKS is like off by like 4 milliseconds or something like that. But even still, both combos are viable here. We'll see what picks up the torch here. It'll be really pivotal if Daisy and Mach were to get WR here. That'll be really interesting, because that's almost exactly the same pace on this track, and that was a similar tale for RBC in years past. So that'd be cool to see, like RBC 2.0, you know, but we shall see. Anyway, what in the absolute world has happened on Sherbet Land this year? Both categories have had just the most insane things go on. So this is one of the biggest stories of 2024 Mario Kart Wii 150cc time trial, ladies and gentlemen. Here's why. Sosis improved his former WR 2:03.750. This world record was the longest world record by a long shot on Sherbet Land. It was almost 1,800 days. And I think the primary reason why he wanted to play it again is because multiple players were getting 203s finally, and they were getting WR fails. So Sosis was provoked, and I think Sosis wanted to get out in front and not be defeated here. This was Sosis, his first world record track ever, number 1. And number 2, Sosis has never lost his reign ever on this track since August of 2017. So next year, if he remains undefeated, it'll be 8 years of undefeated reign, which is absolutely busted. So with that in mind, he just went on an absolute tear. Multiple improvements. And he lands on this 203.5. But he had a massive fail. Not this run, but up at best known pace. And I believe it failed the last turn, lap 3, I think. And I'm pretty sure it was going to be a pretty low 203. So with that in mind, there's definitely more room to improve here, but this track has the most amount of chain wheelies, which is to get a perfect chain wheelie, they get the least amount of time loss is 1 frame timing in a 60 FPS video game. A very precise technique to get down. And doing, I think, 15 times collectively, very hard to do. But also, I forgot to mention, so I would love to have compared Paul's run, but Paul doesn't have his ghost data, unfortunately. So I was actually comparing Steve's time for a ghost comparison there as well. I knew I was forgetting to say something there. Now, what in the world happened on this? So there was a marker ghost developed during this year that has a precise alignment where you could get a 1 Shermer clip with the spear. That unlocked players getting the very first 3 for 3. I believe Logan was the first 3 for 3, but he respawned lap 3. But still, technically, the first 3 for 3 world record, he was the one to meet that mark, which is super impressive. The first one to get a 3 for 3 landing WR is Zoran here. So you saw the differential there between both ghosts here. But then Zoran was the one that landed 3 for 3. It's absolutely busted. But look at where the best known splits are, man. It's over 10 seconds to go. But it's going to take someone super craft just to go into the marker ghost and shroom right away. But even still, I cannot believe that happened during this year. Not in my wildest imagination was getting a 3 for 3 Sherbet Land glitch WR anywhere near my bingo card for this game in 2024. So yeah, I was just beyond just boggled when I saw those developments for sure. Shy Guy Beach. I think Shy Guy Beach no glitch is going to be the same tale as Peach Beach no glitch with Casey. I think Casey got what he wanted here when he got this time. He got the reclaim from Sosis here. And I don't think Sosis has been active for a little while after the Sherbet Land time this year. Actually, no. I think Sosis also got a 155 on Coconut Mall, I'm pretty sure, during this year. But I don't think he's played this during this year. Apart from Casey and Sosis at the very top here, I don't think anyone else has played this track at all this year in the worldwide top 10. There's been no improvements, I should specify. So, improvements can still come on this track for sure. It's getting very hard. I know a while ago, when I asked Casey, I think long term he was going to possibly entertain doing the no hop wheelie at the beginning to not hop over that little puddle there at the beginning. But I think Sosis was also contemplating that too. But there's still more on the horizon here in the future. What I'm trying to get at here. But as it stands for now, this will probably stay mostly the same. That's kind of my prediction for the next year. Hydration break here, folks. Give me a second. Let's not miss the action here, folks. All right. This was improved in the past year. Let me get my facts straight here for a second. Let's see. Glitch. Okay. So, Vincent gets defeated by Ray twice. And by the way, Ray, shoutouts to Ray. Ray is a Wii Wheel player. You got that right. He's doing the outside drifting bike glitch strats with the Wii Wheel. Okay, and the comparison here. So shoutouts to Ray. You're cracked. So, Ray improves twice. And then Vincent gets this time and improves it by a long shot. And clears the first 113 by a country mile. Very impressive stuff here. I think this can stand for a very long time. I don't know what's going to take to really set people apart to improve this time here, because the no glitch driving was pristine. The glitch was done very fast. I don't know. Will we see another glitch craze one day here to do more than one lap as a glitch here? I don't know. We shall see. Well, with all that being said, this is really unique. I was completely floored when I found out this. Are you guys ready? Let's discuss together, shall we, fellas? This time, I did not realize it's over 1,100 days old. I cannot believe that. This is over 3 years old now. And this is the first over 1,000 day world record overall, I think, for Delfino Square as well. And why is Delfino Square so hard, you may ask? Well, the tale of the dock is interesting. I think it's by far one of the hardest no glitch techniques to do. Technically, the launch off of it can be repeatable to some extent, I believe. But if you look so closely at that, where you land, braking, redrifting, and trimming and not crashing That's where the insanity lies. One. And two, it doesn't save that much, right? So, you could theoretically make the dock, save time, but your recovery is way too slow. You could lose to your no dock lap. That's how close of a margin it is. So, the unfortunate thing is, as cool as this is, it's so hard to do. In 3.5 years, only 2 people, the top 2 here, have actually done it in any lap period. And almost this entire top 10 has been dormant for years. This is actually one of the more popular TT tracks, at least in the first good while of the game's history. But after Dock was done, it's a natural progression of the game. But at the same time, it's just so hard that almost the entire top 10 is just so dormant now. It's not really played anymore. So I think it's going to take forever unless someone finds a really consistent way to have a good recovery afterward. But we shall see in the future. Big things are cooking on Waluigi Stadium. Now, Connor has been busy at work on Waluigi Stadium here, making his own WR improvements. He has 275, then got to a busted 108, and now literally as I was preparing Ghost Data to record for this video in the past week or so, he gets another improvement. Hot off the presses here, fellas. A 148.071. And this world record is hype because this is the first Waluigi Stadium world record that that has 235.9 laps, which is super busted. And that's such a hard feat to do on this track. But I also want to shout out both Ace and Falco as well, because both of them have been busting out insane laps and paces almost every day. And Falco has failed 45 openers now, which is simply absolutely crazy to even fathom that. So yeah, there's a lot of talent here. With Ace coming back to the game, he's a former WR holder here. He was the one that defeated Totem's legacy long-term standing WR here. And Falco has been storming up the charts here. So I'm rooting for you too, Falco, because that would be really cool to see Falco get his first world record on, of all tracks, this track. Like, imagine Falco's first WR is the first 147. That would be super crazy to see. But yeah, there's insane, awesome talent on this track that's active right now. With Connor playing right now, Falco, Ace. This is exciting times, ladies and gentlemen, on Waluigi Stadium here. So I think we're going to see multiple improvements by all players, and some of them being WR improvements here. So yeah, I'm very excited. This is one of my favorite tracks in the game, and when there's activity here, I get very hyped for it. So yeah, we shall see what happens here in the coming year. This, I also want to check this, because this is also getting up there with the days actually, for how impressive this world record is. Oh, that's so cool. So, oh, interesting. Let's dissect some stats, shall we? Because that's fun. Why not? So, Hunter's time here, because you guys don't know, is the first and only 2 for 3 glitch world record here. First off. Second off, it is the first 1,000 plus day Waluigi Stadium glitch world record, which I didn't realize it was that old already. That's crazy. And third off, to even drive home that point further, the previous longest standing glitch world records on this track didn't even get to 170 days, and this has been for over 1,000 days. So that just shows how monstrous of a feat Hunter's time is here. Like, I still cannot believe that Hunter actually got this time. Like, dude, if you're watching, man, I'm proud of you, dude. This is absolutely crazy feat that was performed. And as far as if it can be improved, I mean, you see the differential there, and that's doing it 3 for 3. But the practicality and reality of that happening, I don't know. But still, crazy things have happened in Mario Kart Wii. So nothing is off the table here. Okay? But still, I just have to emphasize so much that this is one of the absolute most impressive world records set in the game's history so far. So Hunter, if you're watching, man, you're cracked. You're awesome, dude. What an awesome record you have here, man. Desert Hills, no shortcut. We had no improvement in the past year. And I don't remember anyone being particularly active this year near WR pace on this track. Could be wrong, but I didn't see any major activity. I don't think so anyway. But as you can see, there's still a good ways to go compared to best known splits. Definitely one day a 133 will happen if someone is super craft enough to do it here. But as the sad tale goes on Desert Hills, the lucky wheelie cut is so busted. And if you don't get it, you lose 0.2, 0.3 per one lap. It's that nuts. It's crazy. Yeah. So with that in mind, there's a good reason why this has stood undefeated for a while. It was really crazy when Breakson beat Sosa's here, because I think Sosa's had a good reign for a while. I could be wrong, but I think he did have a long reign here. Let's see. Yeah. Sosa's is 397. It stood for over 1,100 days. I knew it was a long record for sure. But yeah, like there is still more potential here on the horizon for Desert Hills. It's so hard to do on this track, 1,000,000%. But at least in the next year, I don't really see it going down, because again, I don't think anyone has really been super active here in the past year. So we shall see though. Always welcome to some more surprises as the year rolls on, so we shall see. Interesting developments, ladies and gentlemen, on this. So what you're gonna see here is different if you've seen this record in years past. Pop quiz, what's different there? I'll give you 2 seconds. Okay, so if you've seen world records in years past, they get slowed down where they can't chain a drift out of the sand. But now they are. And what I can deduce is they have changed the angle that they're clipping the wall with going inside the tree, and that far clip is allowing them to land close enough to the road where you still have your speed from your clip, but you're still keeping your speed, your drift speed, to go out to the normal road. I think it's like 50 or 55 km or around there, I think, which is the minimum speed you must have to generate a drift. If you go below that speed, you can't generate or maintain a drift. So with that in mind, to my surprise, but also not a surprise, but the best known splits now, those aren't what the quote-unquote lucky bounce cut anymore. It's actually what this drifting cut, which is really, really useful. But still, the players here are pace locked by the fireballs when you land lap 3. But look at how busted of a pace that already was here with Breakson's record here. But I think for sure, long term, I think someone can definitely bust out a mid 129 right from this 130.4. If they just have a busted time, they manage the fireballs on lap 3. But yeah, that'll be exciting times in the future for sure when that eventually happens. Here we are now on BC3, no shortcut, and we had an improvement here once more by Luke. And I think that Luke is actually going to go for a 215 here. I'm pretty sure. And the best splits give it by a decent amount. And I will say once more just to highlight things that people may not know. So Luke uses the Wiimote and Nunchuck. In case you guys are new, Wiimote Nunchuck is partial motion control. So Nunchuck is not motion control, but the Wiimote is. And so for tricking and also doing wheelies and everything, you have to flick the Wii remote. And so why I'm bringing all that up is because this is such a hard TT for Wiimote Nunchuck users, where it's so many flicking with the motion and the input on the 5 low jumps here, because you're trick wheelie, trick wheelie, trick wheelie, etc., etc. And also too, in case you guys, I try to assume there's also a newer audience that maybe don't TT as much, or maybe haven't watched a game play like this ever in their lives. But still, you're hopping to start lower airtime and you're tricking. And you're trying to get as low as possible on the platform as soon as possible. And wheelies, you're at full speed for as long as possible. That was a mouthful. I'm sorry. Anyway, so to get your back wheel to land as soon as possible, either a right or a left side trick is preferred. And to twist your wrist and to do the whole Wiimote motion with all of that is so hard to do for Wiimote Nunchuck users. So this was really gate kept for a while for both classic and GCN players, because it was just too much for Wiimote Nunchuck players. But hats off to Luke for really just pushing the bounds here, because that's just so hard to do, to use that controller scheme. So for sure, I think a 215 will definitely happen in the next year. I think either by Luke, Logan. I don't think Akiza has been playing at all these days, unfortunately, because he also had WR pace into the straight, but he didn't get the chains at the end, which is what that 4-2-1 is there. But yeah, I think the first 215 will definitely happen in the next year, so that'll be an exciting feat to anticipate for sure. Now, this will also be a category that I think will also get an improvement in the coming year. For the reason being, for second worldwide being Noah. So Logan had the absolute most insane lead for a long time after gaining this world record here. Like, I still can't believe Logan's first 3 for 3. First off, they did it, but second off, it was as strong as it has been, because it wasn't just getting a 3 for 3 and having bad driving. It was 3 for 3, very solid driving, getting some chains in there, as the first 3 for 3 ever with the shroomless cut. So with that in mind, no one got close for a while, and then Noah has been slowly chipping away here, and it's actually crazy. I think Noah has gotten like, what, over 10 3 for 3s now, or something crazy like that. I think I was reading somewhere, maybe in one of his video descriptions perhaps. But still, Noah has been hard at work on this category, and I think he has had a run where he was ahead, but then he got really bad chains at the end. I think so. Might be this current 957 possibly, or I think he had a very high 0.9. Maybe it was that one. Now he has his mid 0.9. But still, I think Logan's 3 for 3 here is still one of the most impressive WRs ever set, because to do a 3 for 3 shroomless cut, man, I'm telling you, if you don't understand what goes into doing this, and only so many words, that's just too crazy. Like, the fact that that even works, and someone got a 3 for 3, and now 2 people have a 3 for 3, nothing short of completely remarkable, honestly. But yeah, with that in mind, I think this will definitely go down to at least some form of improvement during next year. And I think Noah might be the one to do the job here, because unless provoked, I don't think Logan will go out of his way to improve this. I think he will want to be improving other times, I would imagine, before doing this. Who knows? But yeah, I think next year might be Noah's time to straight big, so we shall see. Okay. Alright, had to hydrate some more. Parkway. This had a very small improvement, but an improvement nonetheless during this year. And Luke improved upon his own world record during this past year. And there's still some gap from the best known splits here. And to my memory, I'm pretty sure no one else has exactly been very active on this track. Is it Nugget that improved actually on Worldwide Tops? Let me see. I think it was actually Jung Woo. I think Jung Woo improved in the past year, I think. And when I saw the ghost data, he actually used Nunchuck for it, not Wii Wheel, I'm pretty sure. It's actually pretty impressive. He's top notch at Wii Chuck now. That's really cool. I'm still rooting for Felix though, but I don't know how active Felix has been these days. Felix is still third worldwide here, as a 210.9. So he's still within striking distance, for sure. But I don't think Logan has played this since he set this record overall. But I think still more to come here. I think definitely long term the BKS is going to give a 209. And even more to that end, I think 209 will definitely happen here in this category long term. But still, I love this track. Like, time trials here are so nice. That was also a pretty crazy little slope landing that he got. That's pretty unfortunate, actually. Lost some time there. But yeah, it might be a broken record for some, but some of you may be new here. This shroom spot sucks. It's horrible. No other way to say it. And this is a brand new version of the shroom that happened in years past. The old shroom strategy sucks. Still sucks. It's horrible. So it's the most unfortunate thing for this track because the track is a lot of fun to play. But with that in mind, this shroom spot, it deters a lot of players, unfortunately. But yeah. As far as more improvements in the coming year, possible. We shall see. I believe this is the last alternative category I'm including in this video. Another requested one for a while. So let's kind of go over the history of Jungle Parkway here. Next up, you're going to see the glitch category, the actual glitch category. But beforehand, the shortcut slash glitch category was considered this, because that whole railing shortcut happened first. The thing is too, is it's pretty sketch, because where the whole checkpoints are, if you cut the spiral too tight on the spiral skip and you turn around too early, your lap won't count. So it's very finicky like that. But then eventually there was the overall glitch category with this being glitched. And then that became the primary glitch category. And then the primary no glitch category became no spiral skip. And then spiral skip has just been kind of shelved for a very long period of time. Players still play it here and there, but it's not a primary category for Parkway. But still, it was really cool when spiral skip was first happening. I'm actually going to shout out older players that actually had spiral skip world records here. Let me get to it really quick. Spiral skip WRs. Marco was the first one. Shouts to Marco. Marco, King Alex, Neo. Shouts to Neos as well. Yasha, Thomas. Sorry, I've been talking for a long time, and I had a long day at work. Oh my god, I've been talking a lot, and I'm a little bit sick. Anyway, with that in mind, it's had some hands trading in years past, but yeah, I think it's still cool just to try and give this the spotlight a little bit, you know. But yeah, Luke definitely lost a ton at the end of lap 3 there, unfortunately. So Clearly, this category has so much left to go, but it's not really played too much. But even still, that's what it is currently there for the shortcut spiral skip category of Parkway. Now, we have the glitch category, and this was absolutely crazy. So, again, I'm looking at all the live stats here, fellas. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these videos as of late. And the most accurate statistics here for the fellas. So, Invincible was the one that improved upon his own world record, improved by almost a full second. His former WR lasted over 1,000 days. And then Core finally pulled through here, and this has stood for 184 days so far. I actually want to see. So Invincible has had a very long reign here on the glitch. Still holds that record there overall. But Core got it for the first time ever, bring it back to Yoshi, and had a massive improvement here. So cut the first 40 and 39 with one improvement. So this went from a 41.05 to this 38.878. Completely busted time. There's still more to cut, obviously looking at the BKS from before. But yeah. It was just really crazy that, you know, Invincible came back out of nowhere and improved this time. But then Core got it by such a large margin that was not expected whatsoever. So congrats to you, man. Now, for GCN Mario Circuit, there was no world record improvement in either category therein this year. And I think maybe there could be an improvement in next year, at least on the no glitch category of this track. I think it can come from Logan playing again, Big Bork playing again, or Luke learning the mound strategy. I don't know if Luke ever entertained trying to learn the mounds here at all, but Luke had the WR. I think it was a 135.12. I'm pretty sure it was a really sick time, and then it got defeated with the mounds being implemented. But I'm waiting for someone to finally just like grind this to the ground and get the first 129, because now that the mounds are being used, it can totally reach that 129 status. And those three players can definitely do it and all have what it takes to get the first 129 here. But overall, the worldwide top 10 here is actually caught up in recent years. I think 10th place is a low 130.9. And when I was constructing, so in case you guys don't know, there's a tool where you can make custom Nintendo top 10s. And I make that for every single track in this video. It takes a very long time, but makes it look way cooler for you guys to watch and for me to react to. But to my surprise, Demon's first 130 WR is a 965, is off worldwide tops now. I didn't know that was a thing either. So yeah, Legacy WR off the worldwide tops now. But yeah, we shall see what that category delivers in the following year. Now, as you guys are going to see, second place is N/A, because no one else has pulled this off and actually beat their personal best, no glitch driving. This is another tale where I love this cut. It looks completely insane, and it's so satisfying where you can actually go over that gap there. The thing is it saves almost nothing compared to not doing it. That's the sad thing. If this saved like 20 seconds a lap or whatever, that would be really cool. But if you're no glitch driving on laps 2 and 3 and it's too slow, you're not going to improve your time. So it's brutal, man. This is a very like peculiar glitch category. So with that in mind, I don't know if Logan ever bothered to play this after getting the 129, but apart from that, I don't know anyone else that's really going out of the way to play this. I would think if there was more time cut possible for doing 1 for 3, it would be more popular. But I think at this point, maybe it's more practical that someone beats Logan with a 2 for 3. Now, who's going to actually bother to go out of the way to slave away this super precise glitch and do it 2 for 3, this crazy clip off the wall? I don't know. If you guys can't tell, there's a giant invisible barrier from what I've been told, and you need massive, massive height. And to go far enough and land properly is so hard to do. So with that in mind, I don't know, man. I think that can last for quite a while, in my opinion. Now, last cup, but there's been some exciting developments on almost every track and category here. MC3 has had multiple improvements here. So things are really shaking up here on MC3. So let me get my facts straight again on MC3. Let's see. Yeah. So Casey gets MC3 for the first time ever for himself this year. And then Luke reclaims it and improves it once more to an 821. So what's interesting is this. So Luke had an A43, Casey gets an A40, and I believe Vincent got an 841. Vincent picked this up again this year, and he missed WR by 1 freaking millisecond. And then Luke reclaims it by 9 milliseconds, and then he pushes it by 10 more to the 821 here. Now, second worldwide, Casey recently got this time an 827. Almost got it back. And look at this comparison here. They're basically neck and neck at the shroom, and then Luke just ever so slightly gets the edge here and retains WR here. So crazy, man. Like, I think Mario Circuit 3, one of the most gratifying tracks to play and to watch. So graceful, pure racing, high octane gameplay, right? But look at that. Vincent got an 841 and missed tying it by 1 millisecond. So crazy stuff. But I think the story of MC3 does not stop there, and I think that MC3 gets more improvements next year to the first 0.7. That's my prediction. Next prediction. I think this track also goes down next year. And I think Casey may go back to playing this track intermittently and get another improvement here. Because I think Casey still has unfinished business on this track. And if I were to imagine anything, I think Casey wants a better time overall here. Speaking of Vincent as well, he had a lot of WR fails here historically in the past. I think Vincent can still contend here with Casey with improving this WR here. And I think also both Luke and Logan can also give Casey a run for his money here. But for now, as it stands, it's so cool that the former WR with King Alex with the Spear Automatic still stands at second place. So one of the craziest comparisons first off, but second off, just the overall WR history here is just bananas. Like Spear Manual goes to Spear Auto, back to Spear Manual, back to Spear Auto, and then Flame Runner Manual. Like, what in the world? Like, I still cannot believe this happened when it did. Because this was just like a fun alternative category to play, but now it's the actual fastest thing to do. Both the new strats. But yeah, with that in mind, I think this has more to go. And for those that are uninformed, unfortunately, Spear Automatic is pace locked by the Chain Chomp on their own route on lap 3, which makes them pretty much unviable to contend for WR anymore. Maybe they could barely squeak out like a super high 0.8, but once it's even like a low 0.8 with Flame Runner, I think logistically Spear Auto can never get WR again humanly unless a new strategy is found or new route is faster in the hedge maze to make Spear Auto viable again. But crazy things happen in this game always, so we'll see what happens here down the line in the future, right? But yeah, moving on now to DK Summit. Wow. DK Mountain, no shortcut. This has not been improved for not only this year, but for quite a while in general. This is one of those tracks where logistically this is very strong because it only uses one mini turbo shortcut, which is really impressive. Now the technical part is this can still be beaten without any mini turbo shortcut, which you'll see what that is in the Ghost replay here. But it's a super hard strategy to do. There's a reason why it's only been done 1 for 3 for this many years now. But on a cracked run, someone can barely squeak out WR not using it. But the future forward is doing a 3 for 3 MT cut. And BKS is already 2 or 3.9, but I'm pretty sure like that's gonna go down by quite a bit when the standard is 3 for 3 MT cut. So in my eyes, I think on the one hand this is very strong for a 1 for 3, but it's also still a little bit wide open for someone to swoop in and to get like a 2 for 3 or a 3 for 3 and do that strategy. That's very hard to do, but obviously really fast. Hard to pull it off, and the recovery drift is really hard because you can make that, but then your drift angle is so just busted where you're gonna be hitting the fence before the last turn where you just lose your run. But I think this is still open for other top DK Mountain players to swoop in and to bag a WR here by like 0.2, 0.3 or something like that. But still, like this track is hard to play regardless, but throwing in the MT cut is even more of a challenge for sure. But yeah, multiple players are very talented at DK Mountain, but again, I would not at all be surprised if one of these DK Mountain worldwide top 10 players, they come out of the woodwork with a 2 for 3 and get like a 204.3 or something like that. Yeah, for now, still, that's a really impressive run overall still. Very strong 1 for 3 by far. But yeah, we'll see what delivers here down the line. Now, we are going to the shortcut category of DK Mountain. This once more remains undefeated during this year. And I think this is not as likely to be improved compared to the no shortcut time. I could be wrong. Let me see. Let's take a look here, fellas. Let's see. I think the last improvement on this top 10 was possibly Spitfire's time. I'm going to open this ghost data. What's the date on this? Let's see. It's taking a long time to load the ghost data, but as I wait for that, all to say, this has been a very dormant worldwide top 10 for quite a while. Yeah, so Spitfire got his 158.825 July of last year, 2023. I don't think anyone else has been active this year or longer on this category. So another dormant category. So with that in mind, I think it's even less likely that this gets an improvement during the coming year. But as you can see though, the discrepancy versus BKS is quite large. And the primary reason is the bridge at the end. So you have to use your mushroom, obviously, for the shortcut through the wall. But doing the bridge shroomless, if you get lucky minimal to no bounces, you get a chain wheelie, and don't lose any time at all with a perfect alignment, you are literally saving, like, no exaggeration, like probably 0.3 per lap. It sounds stupid, but with all the bounces, you can't even rechain your wheelie at all, and you're stuttering your acceleration at the top speed for like several seconds, that loses a load of time. So if you get super lucky on that all 3 laps, you're gonna crush the record. But I know people have done like a rechain MT strategy to wheelie with an MT onto the bridge. I think that's very hard to do because the window to soft drift is very small, but we shall see what happens here in the future. The last track, N64 Bowser's Castle. This had a mighty improvement during this year for both categories. Now, on No Glitch, Luke dunks out a humongous improvement relative for this track category. He goes from a high 0.5 to a mid 0.4. I'm biased because this is one of my favorite tracks, okay? I don't have enough time to express how impressive it is to get this level of a time on this track. The future is doing that drifting ramp all 3 laps that saves some time. Not a lot, but some. But still, this is the longest category of the game for time trial. The ultimate test of consistency and just having very crisp driving. The first half is relatively simple. The second half is where things get a little bit tricky. And to do all of that as precise as he does it is just so hard to do. Because also, if anyone knows anything about this in the past, me talking about this, as players know, the bridge at the beginning is very lucky because you can't go completely flat every time. It's human RNG. You can't control all the factors unless you're doing a TAS of it. I think even TASers have some difficulty controlling all the variables that have a completely flat bridge and not bounce. Because what players run into is they bounce right before the read chain wheelie happens. And that's why a lot of players like myself would give up in the past playing this track at the highest level. So to have this world-class driving, consistency, everything across the board to perform like this is so insane. And I believe he failed a very high 0.3 or a low 0.4 before this time, I'm pretty sure. But still, like, I'm biased, but this is by far one of the most impressive world records in the game as it stands right now. So, hats off to Luke, man. Like, this is such a crazy time. There are other players that can possibly give a Luke a run for his money down the line. But I'm telling you, it's very tough now. It is very tough to possibly entertain that. But we shall see what delivers here down the line in the future. The last track, but not least, is RBC, and this was really interesting. So, James gets his first world record on this category of all categories. Before I move on, I must say that I would have loved to be watching his actual world record, but for some reason, his ghost data is not available on the world record site, on Mario Kart leaderboards, and on Chadsoft is not there either. So we're actually watching his previous WR that he set, because he set more than one WR in a short amount of time, which is completely crazy. For how hard this is, and getting a first world record here, and doing it 3 times I think it was, for 3 improvements, like, oh my god, crazy stuff. But, yeah. James gets his first set of world records here, which is really impressive. And reading his descriptions, I believe James only started playing the game like 2 years ago or something like that. So they go from never playing at all to doing arguably possibly the hardest feat in the game for a glitch and getting a first multiple WRs. And now he has like the ultra shortcut Desert Hills fast lap world record too, which is really impressive. I'm going to leave that video too in the description because I think that story should be highlighted too. You can read what his story is about because he's been trying very long for that too, and that was really cool to read through. But yes, this should be the take-home message, folks. A lot of people asked me in the past, you know, can new players get good and possibly get world records? You're watching it here. 2 years from scratch, and now James got multiple WRs. it can happen for sure. Logan's time was already pretty strong, but now James has been pushing it quite a bit. Now there's more gaps as well for the BKS. Getting a very fast alignment, doing a glitch right away is what's going to render a very fast time and fast no glitch driving. But guys, with that in mind, this has been a mouthful. It's been 2 hours of non-stop commentary. The future of Mario Kart Wii time trial is brighter than ever. I wish you all the best of luck in 2025 for your time trial endeavors. I love doing these. Been the past 6 years doing these, so throw me a sub, like the video, helps to promote and push the video out even more. And I'll be back for more videos in the future during next year. Thank you, take care, peace.